Hello, I'm Rich Stanek, Sheriff of Hennepin County, and I want to welcome you to this training to combat sex trafficking. What is sex trafficking? Well, simply put, it's the buying and selling of people for sex. It is among the fastest growing criminal industries in the world, and it's happening throughout the U.S. Crossing a border is not necessary to be considered sex trafficking. The most disturbing, heartbreaking aspect of this crime, the average age of entry into prostitution is 12 to 14 years old. There are adult men and women who are victims. There are boys who are victims. But usually, sex trafficking involves young girls, and typically they are bought and sold online. A pimp controls the victim by using physical violence, drug addiction, financial control, or other types of coercion. The video you're about to watch describes what you should do if you see indications of this crime.
What we're looking for is asking those in the motel and hotel industry to see what goes on in their hotels. We all know, and you know what happens in your hotel on a Monday or a Sunday or a Tuesday afternoon or after a football game. These types of crimes are abnormal in your hotel, and we're asking you to look for things that look abnormal and string them together when you talk to an officer either in the parking lot or at your hotel or on the phone to try and get involved in these crimes. Consider what's normal for your guests. Some things to consider are no luggage or identification, rooms paid for in cash, anyone appears to be fearful, disoriented, or disheveled, who shows signs of physical abuse, who is being restricted from moving or communicating, young people made up to look significantly older, and with significantly older boyfriends. You know what happens in your hotel. You know what doesn't look right in your hotel, what doesn't seem right, what may be out of place as your normal behavior. If you have someone in the lobby that actually belongs in the room, or you have little luggage when they're staying there for 5 or 6 or 7 days, or a unit that turns down the maid service every other day, just things that you singly look at them doesn't make sense, but as you look at the trait and the trails of this activity, they will lead us to believe that there's something going wrong in your hotel, and we can all work together to make it better.
The signs of trafficking can be seen not just in the guests at your hotel, but also in the rooms. After all, there's normal activity that takes place in guest rooms, and then there's the kind of activity that takes place when prostitution or trafficking are involved. Here are some things to look for in guest rooms. Continuous refusal of housekeeping services. They don't want anyone else to see what they're doing. Excessive pornography or any child pornography, and reminder that child pornography in itself constitutes a crime. Sex paraphernalia, condoms, lubricants, etc. Numerous smartphones, tablets, laptops, etc. These are the tools of their business. Multiple credit cards or excessive cash. They want to conceal their identity, so they'll often use cash. Different men coming and going out of the room. Again, any one of these signs may not indicate that trafficking is present, but they may in combination. If you see something, say something. Finally, consider what's normal for common areas. These areas are key because the pimp or trafficker may leave his victim alone when they're with the customer. They may go so far as to solicit customers who are in the common area, and customers may wait in the common area for time with the victim. Individuals loitering or soliciting in common areas, such as parking lots, lobby, hallways, etc. Buyers of sex often have to wait their turn with the victim, and when they do get their turn with the victim, they may enter through a side door to avoid a security camera. Individuals appearing to monitor common areas. Traffickers may watch to count the number of men to verify the money that they're making, and may keep an eye out to make sure that their victims don't escape. Also look for individuals exchanging money. And finally, keep an eye on hotel computers, like in the lobby. They may be used to visit adult websites.
If you do suspect something, here's what you should do. Don't confront, seek help. Follow your establishment's policies. Call 911. No concern is too small. Feel free to call 911 on just a suspicion. We won't make a commotion just by coming over and visiting with you. The officer can work with you on what you feel is suspicious and to see if that mandates a criminal interdiction stop by the officer, stopping by the room to ask a question, or just remain under surveillance to help this situation out. Let the officer determine when you talk to him or her on the telephone as to what might be reasonable. And as long as you're acting under reasonable guidelines, everyone's going to look favorably upon what you just did.
Now that you've heard what sex trafficking is and how to detect it, you're probably asking yourself, can this really work? I'm here to tell you that it can. In Roseville, we recently had a case where it was the hotel employees calling in that really led to catching someone who was trafficking a 17-year-old female. This case really came down to these employees recognizing something's not right, and more importantly saying, you know what, we need to do something about it. We're not going to just turn the other way. We're going to call the police. That's the right thing to do.
We have focused our training efforts on hotel and motel workers because they are on the front lines of this battle. Yet, we urge all citizens to report suspicious activity. To remain anonymous, text the keyword HCSO TIP to 847-411 or install the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office app onto your smartphone. You may prefer to call 911. Remember, no concern is too small. Together, we are sending a message that sex trafficking will not be tolerated in our community. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and be part of the solution.